Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webcast, Quest in Focus Conference Highlights. My name is Kate Velasquez. I'm a marketing coordinator with GSI, and I'm also very pleased to present John Bassett. John is Executive Vice President of Managed Services, as well as Chief Technology Officer here at GSI. Prior to co-founding GSI, John worked at JD Edwards and has over 30 years of JDE experience. John has experience managing the technical side of implementations, upgrades, and various special projects. John is well known in the industry and is a regular presenter at industry conferences as well as on our webcasts. Now, before we get started, I wanted to give you a chance to review our safe harbor statement. Now, for a quick overview of today's meeting, which will last about 60 minutes, first, we would like to take a moment to go over a couple housekeeping items as well as provide a brief company overview. Then we'll turn it over to John to get to our main presentation, which will last about 40 minutes. Next, we'll take a minute to go over upcoming educational events, and then we'll wrap up with a 10-minute Q&A session. If you'd like to submit a question, you can do so through the questions panel at the bottom of the GoToWebinar console window, located on the right side of your screen. Please note that the questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. If you would like to minimize your GoToWebinar console during the presentation, just click the right-facing arrow key on the top left of the console. Clicking the left arrow key will return the console so that you can input your questions. Now I'd like to give you a brief overview of GSI. GSI is a full-service JD Edwards consulting organization. We're an Oracle Platinum partner that was founded in 2004 and has over 100 employees. We have offices nationwide and are recognized on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest-growing companies in the U.S. GSI specializes in project consulting, managed services, and cloud and hosting services, with all of them backed with a 100% guarantee. GSI also provides a broad spectrum of business, functional, and technical consulting services for Oracle NetSuite, Oracle Cloud, Salesforce, ServiceNow, and other enterprise applications. In addition, we are a product development company that has many popular products, including Genius, our advanced monitoring and performance analytics solution for JD Edwards or any business-critical system on any platform. Genesis is our load and stress testing application for system design, validation, or expansion for JD Edwards or any web-based business-critical system. G Shield is our comprehensive security solution for JD Edwards, including password reset and 2FA authentication. Rapid Reconciler, which allows you to effectively manage your inventory, in-transit, and RMB reconciliation processes for any version of E1 or World. And finally, Rapid Approval is a Salesforce App Exchange solution that streamlines the approval request process. Now I'd like to turn things over to John for a main presentation and demo.
Second, hi, Caitlin. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, John?
Good. I'll change it to show my screen. Let's see. Are you seeing my screen?
Yep.
Okay. See the presentation, or do you see the all the note slides? You might see the wrong thing.
I think you just need to make it full screen.
No, hold on a second. I'm sharing the wrong screen. There we go. Now you should see the whole screen, right? Just got my name on it. It's all, yeah, there we go. Yep. All right, thank you. All right, everybody, welcome to our GSI session on in focus highlights. I happened to attend. GSI had about 10 people there, so we had quite a bit. It spanned 3 days in August, from August 20th to 22nd, and there basically were sessions all day long. And it's been in Denver for several years now. Actually, I think almost all of the years it's been in Denver, downtown for quite some time. Almost everybody stays at the Sheridan or nearby off the 16th Street mall. So it's not too difficult to get to. The good thing about being in Denver is that many of the more people from JD Edwards Oracle can attend, since that's where the product managers are located. Many of the development management team is there as well, so more people can come in than if it were, say, in a city like, let's say, Chicago or even Las Vegas or San Francisco. So just some of the highlights. There were over 600 customers attended. That's I think they said it was actually a record. 100 plus cross-industry expert speakers came there. I did 3 sessions myself. 280 unique customer companies. So of the 600 plus users, there were darn near 300 companies that made it. 75 world-class solution providers, other companies like GSI and Magic Software, companies like that, providing solutions for your JD Edwards system. And there were over 250 different sessions. If you're a Quest member, you can actually download copies of those sessions. If you sort through the numerous ones there and find the ones that interest you, you can get the PowerPoint. Some of them were also video recorded, and you might be able to get those as well. So I'm not going to go through all of the agenda. We included here just so you can get an idea of what it was like to be there. It started pretty early on Monday for registration, and then they started education, and then the super session, which GSI sponsored, was at 4:30, and immediately after the super session, that was when the vendor showcase opened up, and they have their network reception. So it's when everybody gathers and wants to. It's kind of like the kickoff to the session. So I'm not going to go through each of these days and what was offered on each of these days. So you can sort through when you're there. So what is InFocus? It is a Quest sponsored JD Edwards Pacific conference, and we'll compare and contrast InFocus with Collaborate and Open World, just so you can get an idea of some of the differences. If you're wondering if you should attend one versus the other, we can certainly help you pick. But this one is exclusively to JD Edwards, World, and EnterpriseOne. You'll talk about many of the features, functionality, technology upgrades, and software directions. So in a couple years ago, Quest celebrated its 20th anniversary. I used to work for the president. His name was Jim, and Jim kept Quest alive back in the early days of Quest, when it was a much smaller organization. So who should attend? Few newer and experienced users. So basically, if you're a JD Edwards user, it's really good for you. Whether you're a technical person or a functional person or developers, pretty much it's suited for any of those people. Also, power users, people who are using EnterpriseOne or World. Many times in the past, we've seen people come to it that were looking into using or purchasing the product, would also show up just to get an idea of the user community and who they could learn from, maybe get some industry knowledge ahead of time. Also, sometimes you may find it frustrating being working at your company or from home or whatever, and you may need to get a hold of the folks from Oracle, and you just wonder who to talk to. This is a good place to go to learn who's who at Oracle as well, and give you an opportunity to network with not only Oracle but with other users in the community. So there are plenty, of exhibitors that come up. Basically, you can get a list of solution providers. If you have a barcoding need, you'll see there are several barcode solutions. If you need, web development, there's plenty of that. If you need IoT, there's IoT technology there as well, and allow you to, basically review and see demos of the various options that you might need. Gather some important information from, to help you, make informed decisions. If you look at barcoding solutions, you might see, well, there's RF Smart and there's DSI and RF Gen. Which one's best for me? So you can go see the different capabilities, because they do have different needs. And GSI often recommends one versus the other, whichever one is appropriate. Or maybe you have a security, you want a security tool. There's a couple tools there. They're both Q Software and All Out will show up. They both have good products, but they are ones that have specific needs. There were plenty of vendor awareness sessions for companies like GSI to basically highlight their own products. If you don't want to, maybe not get enough from the booths, you want a specific deep dive on a particular solution, but offered by a vendor. Many vendors do give product awareness sessions, give you real life stories of people who use those solutions and why they would use the solutions. So you do get face-to-face time there, and we've found it very critical. All of our clients say that they find the face-to-face time very much important. One of our long-term clients, whom we did the super session with, had a chance to sit down and talk directly with some folks from the Oracle development. Another one of our clients is looking to upgrade 25 different business units. And they just wanted, they've reviewed the technology plan with us, they've reviewed it themselves, but they just wanted Oracle to take a chance to look over their plan as well. So we gathered the folks from Oracle and we sat down and we reviewed the plan to upgrade the 25 different business units for them to make sure there weren't any holes. And of course, Oracle found some things that we had not thought of, and it was very valuable for them. So we mentioned the various events, and we want to compare some of them. If you know next year's budget, you can only go to one. This will maybe help you choose. InFocus is strictly JD Edwards. It is organized and run by Quest, and it's usually held in Denver. Collaborate, also run by Quest, but it's not just JD Edwards. It's JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, and Oracle. Maybe a little more generic than InFocus, not as deep dive. It's traditionally held in Las Vegas, which can make it a little difficult for some of the folks from the East Coast to get there. Denver's a little not that much better, but can be a little closer for some people. Other people just don't enjoy Las Vegas. And then Open World, which is next week. If you're thinking to go, you probably can't even get a room right now. It'd be really hard to even find a room, and if you do find a room, you're going to spend $800–900 a night for a hotel. Very expensive to go to San Francisco compared to Denver or Las Vegas. Next year's Collaborate, my understanding is that it's in Texas. San Antonio is what I remember hearing. I'm not positive on that it won't be in Las Vegas for the 1 year. That'll make it a little more exciting. I get tired of going to Las Vegas, and some people always enjoy it. They held it in Las Vegas because they feel that they might get a better draw. People want to go to Las Vegas for vacation, or maybe turn business and pleasure together. So I just find it to get a little tiring, and the noise. And Mandalay Bay is where it's generally been held, and you just seem to have to walk forever to get from your room to the session. You're looking at a 15 to 20 minute walk. No matter what, if you forgot something, you need to go back to your room. It's difficult. Open World, very similar problem. You need to be booking for Open World next year right now because it's jam packed. Weather's usually okay there. Again, it's JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, and Oracle, but it's other industries too that are there. Generally speaking, you see about 50,000 people at Open World. Collaborate, less than that. 5,000 to 6,000 people, and InFocus, obviously less than 1,000. So if I had to choose personally, if I was just a JD Edwards shop and not running any other ERP, I would pick InFocus. InFocus is so clearly JD Edwards centric, and everybody from Oracle that knows JD Edwards comes to that because it's in Denver. And then Collaborate and Open World. GSI will have booths at InFocus and Collaborate. We don't generally tend to present at Open World just because the cost and the amount of money it costs to send all the people and the awareness. It's just not as valuable to us as the other. But if you have other Oracle workloads, Open World could very well be the best place for you. And there's some people that come from Asia Pac that go there. You might get a chance to meet some people there as well. So Collaborate is kind of Oracle business applications, variety of professional development, etc. If you are running PeopleSoft, Oracle, and JD Edwards, it's a good place to go. Similar to InFocus in the sessions and the extension and the network opportunities, very similar best practices and real world concepts and case studies. So here's, I think more than anything, what's different about Collaborate from InFocus. It's only customer-led global conference focusing on Oracle ecosystem at a macro level from the user perspective. That's Collaborate. Oracles can get Fusion and the majority of world education. Hear about new product releases and strategies from Oracle and the partner community. More talented networking by special interest and geographic location. Allows user communities to kick off many initiatives after they've learned a macro level view. And InFocus is where customers dig into the micro and the detail levels. So I guess maybe if you were like a C-level or manager, maybe Collaborate would be better for you, because you're not going to get into the nitty-gritty, whereas InFocus is going to give you some of the high level, but it's more where you dig in and get the detailed view. So Quest is a 23-year-old company, business, basically for Oracle, JD Edwards, and Soft. It started with JD Edwards, and then they merged with the PeopleSoft user community. And basically, now there's almost 10,000 companies in it, 57,000 users all across the world. So the Quest website is full of data, as is GSI's website, of various webcasts and offerings that are available. Online learning, they do have some learning, so it's really a good site. Just some of the industry focuses that you'll see at the. I'm not going to cover all of these. You can read for yourself, and you can get a copy of the presentation to notice some of the industry focuses. And where the industry focus may matter is around the lines of whether or not maybe you want to go to the cloud. Some of these industries are suited for cloud ERP opportunities, and some aren't. For instance, finance, if you want to go with NetSuite or a cloud ERP, great solution. But if you're going to do property management, well, you know what? That's not something you're going to find nicely in a cloud ERP. JD Edwards does have a really good solution for that. So grower module, just, Oracle's direction is not to put a module into cloud ERP. JD Edwards is the place to be. So it's all talk about the industry focus. Just do some comparing and contrasting of the conference. Over 250 sessions, meeting and roundtables. 220 for EnterpriseOne and 9 for World. Now look at this. Compare this to 2013. 2013 is before this big cloud push from Oracle. There were only 212 sessions, meetings and roundtables, 194 sessions for EnterpriseOne, and 15 sessions for World. So, I mean, looking at those two and comparing those two, really, with the exception of World, this session has grown. But by all means, World isn't even really dead. There still was 9 sessions around World. It's a growing conference. I was there, and I know that this was the largest InFocus I'd ever been to. There were people standing at our booth all the time. It was the most crowded I've experienced to date, and there was a lot of excitement about JD Edwards and its future. And I have a lot to say about that in this webcast as to the future of JD Edwards, because that might be what many of you are attending this session for. And rest assured, if you're a JD Edwards user, your software is not going anywhere anytime soon. If you wish to stay on JD Edwards for 20 years, that is a viable option. So there were several keynote sessions, some vendor sponsored, to talk about products and roadmaps. There were, Lyle Ekdahl did want to talk more about that. There were general sessions across industries, etc., or Oracle's strategic direction. There were specific how-tos in the educational area, and then there were vendor awareness sessions where many of the sponsors of that had booths are able to discuss their solutions and offerings. And then specific roundtables, CIO roundtables, if you want to talk to peers in that, maybe specific areas, if you're in the chemical business, there would be a chemical, HR payroll would have a roundtable as well as several special interest groups on the various industries. That goes without saying. These sessions have this format has been there for the existence of Quest, very similar all the way around, whether it's InFocus or Collaborate, and also specialty workshops available. So again, Lyle Ekdahl is the Senior Vice President at Oracle for the JD Edwards product line. Lyle was quite a bit more excited this year than I would say he was last year. In talking to him is where you get a good understanding of Oracle's commitment to enhance and support JD Edwards. Just so you know, there are more developers working on the JD Edwards product line today than there were 10 years ago. It continues to grow. There's roughly double the number of developers when it was JD Edwards itself as a company. So this is a good message about the livelihood. Let's face it, JD Edwards is 40 years old. There is a lot of knowledge. It's grown through the entire stages of the ERP lifecycle, but it existed before ERP. It is existing through ERP, and whatever new buzzwords are going to come up, it is a modern application with 40 years of industry knowledge. So here's a biggie. They extended Premier support for JD Edwards EnterpriseOne through 9.2 through at least 2030. So that's 2 more years than before from last year. So it highlighted some new features that for multiple processes, including automation of manual tasks. You'll also find a lot of alerting functions that have been put in: error elimination, shorter cycle times, improved processes, reduction of keystrokes. GSI did a study with one of its clients a couple years back on some of the new UX1 enhancements when they first started with the new E1 page strategy. Now you have composite pages, and the company determined that each user in their company saved 25 minutes a day on reduced keystrokes. That's times 100 users. That was a significant time savings for them. Now you say, well, that might allow them to eliminate people. Well, no, it just allowed their people to get more work done in the same day, made them more efficient. Personalization rather than customization. Okay, that's a big message. Probably ought to be in highlight and should have been at the top of the page. JD Edwards traditionally has its benefit is the ability to customize, and with the customizations spawned the life of the developer, JD Edwards developer community, and the extension of C&C people. Oracle is making the software work differently now. They're making it so C&Cs can concentrate on keeping the system running and expanding it. Backups, the key things, rather than dealing with package builds, deployments, and other C&C related tasks. Well, the same is true for development. Personalization will be replacing customization in the JDE roadmap. Not all companies allow that, and some older companies that are slower to adapt and have software development lifecycle that they have to follow. This will be an important test for your business, because personalization puts the customizations in the hands of the power users, not developers, not the IT staff. So it is a big transformation, and Oracle is saying if you're looking to make a custom mod, and if you're on 9.2, why don't you think about personalizing rather than customizing, because you can change things on screens. You can edit column headers as long as you don't have to create any new fields, or the fields are there and it's just a look and feel thing, moving things around, or it can get a little more powerful than that. You just don't have to modify. So there's going to be a reduction in development. Not that developers will go away, it's just some of that development is going to be done by end users. Extensions to mobile workers, field staff, machines, and suppliers. So Oracle, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even more than that, making changes to mobile applications, making them function better, multiple different types of devices, and some of the capability of a local presence has been extended to mobile workforce. So again, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure is very key. It's a big part of Oracle's message. Many of the sessions that you saw was around the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Not that you have to go to it, but they are dedicating a lot of resources towards it. They're enhancing and developing the cloud offering, and they're trying to become a big player in the infrastructure service. So I did ask the folks at Oracle, like, why did you opt to get into a highly competitive commodity-based business in terms of hosting? And they're like, well, we did get into that business, but that's not what our goal is. Our goal is to provide an enterprise solution that includes the software and the infrastructure around it. So it's not just a commodity-based business. It's, you know, it's wrapping entire applications around it, and they're trying to become a power player in the industry. So, and Oracle did talk about a service that allows partners to validate architecture with Oracle resources. So they're trying to provide a service, and it is a free service that you can get if you're in something GSI can help you with. We're an Oracle MSP, and we can assist with migration to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. There's some performance benefits to it there, and if you're a new person, new greenfield company, and you're looking to buy JD Edwards, and you're looking to go with Oracle Enterprise Edition, it can be a lot cheaper to put things into the Oracle Cloud and rent your database licenses versus purchasing them. So there can be some advantages there, and several of our clients have taken advantage of that. Future of JDE, we mentioned the support is from 9.2 was extended to 2030, and guess what? There really is no planned end of life for JD Edwards. A lot of people are saying, well, 2030, that's it, it's over. No, that's not what that means. That just means they have a crystal clear picture of what the development roadmap and support roadmap looks like until then. It's not going to go away, and they've increased their return on investment. Upgrading should be more appealing because the new 9.2 is kind of the last upgrade. Oracle heard the messaging. People don't like upgrading every 3 to 5 years. It's painful. It's costly. GSI is in the middle of some upgrades, and I can attest that they're not always excited about the change that's going to go into place. So you're not going to have to upgrade for quite some time. Sure, they'll send patches and updates, and you should take those. But there's no longer major testing process. So they've gone to this continuing innovation model instead of releasing 9.3, meaning you're going to see tools releases pop out, and you're going to see update packs come out, and you're not going to see 9.3 anytime soon. At least that's what they've said, and I believe that they've been sticking to that message. Big messaging, UX1. If you don't know what UX stands for, it stands for the user experience. It allows users to develop their own pages and dashboards so that you can design your daily work life the way you need it to. Let the CNC focus on important things like I mentioned before, like OCI and keeping JD running. Personalization, very much key factor to using UX1 long term. Another new big takeaway, and this has been out for a while, is it used to be called the IoT Orchestrator. They've enhanced this Orchestrator. It is, think of it like an integration tool. It's an integration tool that is open. It uses REST-based type of architecture. There's also a process recorder that'll save you a lot of time in creating the orchestration. So if you want to create an interface that brings in, let's say, address book creation or something like that, you can go in and turn on the process recorder, record what it takes to create a record, and this process recorder will actually create the orchestration that you could then tie back to other devices such as IoT devices or an interface bringing data in from, let's say, ADP or another tool. Manual input and data entry will be a thing of the past. Anything that somebody now goes around your business and carries a clipboard and is writing things down, you should consider integrating with the Orchestrator. They can't get rid of everything, but they automate many of the manual processes without coding. That's the advantage. You can now do an integration without necessarily a developer. Now, you're going to need a power user. You're going to need somebody that understands the JD Edwards database structure, the data dictionary, so to speak. You're going to need somebody with business knowledge, but anybody with deep integral business knowledge will be able to design this. You don't need a CNC. You don't need a developer in order to define the orchestra. You might need some help from those folks. Their value doesn't go away completely, but 90% of the workload can be handled by the average user. Oracle is moving towards autonomous ERPs, and I mentioned something about this earlier when I was talking about the history of JD Edwards, and that JD Edwards was a traditional ERP and is migrated into a digital platform ERP, and that's kind of where they're at right now, moving towards a supervised ERP and autonomous ERP, where there's more automation, machine learning, the back-end computing system doing the thinking for you. So they're in the process of developing tools to go from a digital platform ERP through supervised ERP, which is where we're at right now, and autonomous ERP. So one-click provisioning is now going to reduce the total effort and associated with new implementations. We've used it. They've got a little bit of work to do on it. If you're setting things up in the cloud, it works great. If you're doing it on an on-premise solution, leaves a little work. But you can see the direction of where JDE is headed to. So Oracle kept mentioning the journey, the JD Edwards journey through the state. I don't know if anybody, I happened to be there. One of the founders of JD Edwards at McBaney was there. He's not with Oracle or JD anymore. He's started his new company, but he was there. People could meet him. He started I think it was Next Wave or some company with his daughter, and he's participating in some of this digital journeys, but not JD Edwards. So those are some of the things that Oracle is looking to do with you into the future, the innovative journey, and there is a good roadmap for it. Quest in Oracle, they're partnering. Again, we mentioned it's been around since 1995. 5,500 users. They sponsor both Collaborate and InFocus, many different special interest groups, hundreds of online and virtual JD Edwards events at Quest. So back to Oracle. If you don't remember, Premier support is when Oracle releases a product, you get Premier support from year 0 through 5 on the product. Then you go, after years 5 through 8, you go into extended support, and after 8 years, you're in sustaining support. If you're on 9.2, really doesn't matter. You're really going to be on Premier support through the end of 2030, and I'm sure somewhere around 2025 you're going to hear what Oracle plans to do about that, but just stay tuned. Applications Unlimited is what Oracle has renamed their group that is responsible for on-prem software. A couple of years ago, Oracle was pushing the message, cloud, 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 move to Oracle Cloud, and I think that message got a little, they met with resistance from their existing people. Oracle did $6.5 billion in on-premise software sales that year, and they realized, well, hey, we can't do that. We've got a lot of business here with our on-premise applications, JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, Hyperion, Siebel, eBusiness, and so all of those on-premise software have been renamed Applications Unlimited, and they have a staff of over 100 account executives, sales members working in that group now. So in the last 2 years, it's really grown from, oh, not going to be your on software to, oops, we forgot about you guys, but now we've got you in mind again. Sorry about that. We've got our team for you. So Oracle is still committed to working with their on-premise applications or working into a hybrid cloud solution. Maybe it makes sense to go to Oracle Cloud for HR or CRM or finance, but keep JD Edwards for your grower module or whatever. And again, coexistence is what we're talking about, hybrid cloud, multiple applications working together, not the JD Edwards coexistence world in one world. That we're not talking about that. So here's some recent things that Oracle has announced for 9.2. I'm not going to go over all of these things, but you can see that Oracle has added a lot of capability to EnterpriseOne over the last, 6 months. That's a lot of new features since February of 2018 up and through July and into August for that. And I got a couple of other announcements that I'll tell you about if you haven't heard about it. So you can see there's a huge investment on the form of Oracle for the JD Edwards product line and what they've added in the last 6 months alone. Oracle, I mentioned the continuous adoption program, and this is kind of what that roadmap looks like. They issue regulatory updates at the end of each year. They are adding different contents, like in December, they'll add UX1 for finance. I'm sorry, that was December of 2017. So you can see the various updates. And you'll notice that June of 2017, you were on apps 9.2, tools 9.2.1. Now it's apps 9.2.2 update 2. Tools release 9.2.2.x. 6 is current. 9.2.3 will be released at Open World next week. So here's some of the planned highlights. If you're wondering what Oracle is going to be doing in the future, this could be a whole 30-minute talk. I won't go into all of these. You can read this if you're wondering what they're going to be doing. Some things that they're researching are over towards the right, and hopefully we see all of these. So you can see not only have they done a lot for you, they plan to do a lot, and they're researching a lot as well. So JDE, again, just not going anywhere. And you really felt that in Denver as well. You really felt that JD Edwards was truly alive. And I can't say the same thing about InFocus 2 years ago. You didn't feel that way. This year, you just felt that JD Edwards was alive. This was something Oracle shared with everybody, and I like this. I find it fascinating. A year ago, where the client base was in terms of installed versions and where they are today. And you can see that in 2017, there were still quite a bit on 9.1 versus 9.2. But guess what? There's still a lot of 9.1 people out there. If you're planning an upgrade, folks, I want to tell you this. There are only so many companies that can do upgrades for you. Oracle is saying, there's hundreds or thousands, I should say, of people that are on 9.1 that want to go to 9.2, and they're all planning to do it in the next 2 years. Guess what, folks? There may not be business partners around to get those in. We're all very busy doing upgrades. So if you're planning it, if it's on your horizon to do a plan, if you take one bit of advice from this, get with your partner right now and get on the schedule. They may not have room for you as you may like. So that's my advice. It's not necessarily reflective of GSI's. It is my vision of how many people have said that they are going to upgrade versus how many that can actually be accomplished by the business partner community. Because Oracle doesn't do too much. Oracle Consulting is not a large organization. They can help, but not like the business partner community can help. So Oracle's listening. What people said was they want less disruptive upgrades. Yes, they were brutal, guys. They still are. If you're on 9.1 looking to go to 9.2, and you think it should be very simple, I can tell you right now, the technology updates alone are just a little bit painful. So there's a new security model. If you're not on 9.2.2, we've got the concept of UDOs where you have to put security in for it, and that takes time. The new lockdown all versus used to leave everything open has changed. Some of the architecture has changed. You're going to have to get new hardware. Probably, if you're on an I-series, you might be okay. Stronger return on investment is there because of the UX1 features and the personalization has really made ROI and much easier to justify. Oracle's commitment on support and enhancements, it's there. I gave you the list. You can show that to your management team. They're there. Longer support timelines, yes, up to 2030. So, just a couple of the things that people need to be thinking about: staying code current, learn to adopt the personalization framework. It'll make your life a lot easier. Look to use orchestrations and Orchestration Studio for integrations. The Orchestrator is not for everybody, though. If you've got a high volume interface, then by all means continue the developer who understands workloads. Orchestrator is not for large integrations that have millions of records to import on a daily basis. It's just not the right tool for that. But it is the tool for day-to-day integrations. You're going to download a payroll from ADP into JD Edwards or vice versa, and Orchestrator is a really good tool for that. Premier support up until 2030. And here's a big announcement that you're going to hear next week at Open World, and that is the announcement of 64-bit processing. And this came out of the fact that Oracle told us business partners, they've been telling me for years, no, we're never going to 64-bit. It's a 32-bit application, never going to change. It'll be some other product. Well, the problem is that Java is going to be going to 64-bit only very soon. So Oracle's like, okay. Java's our own product. We've got direct contact with them. They're not going to keep it alive for JD Edwards. They said basically to the JD Edwards development team, you guys need to modify your code. So you're going to see 64-bit with 923 next week. Don't get all excited and say, hey, I have that. There may or may not be any advantage to you to go to 64-bit. There might be some performance gains, but I won't tell you that it's going to be the best thing that you've seen, in that something that's taking 5 hours will now take 30 seconds. No, don't expect that. But 64-bit, if you're looking to do it, you'll get some performance boosts on certain specific UBEs, but don't expect that. It's just supportability with third-party products. And you can go to a multi-bitness just like you can do multi-foundation, so you don't have to go all 64-bit. You can test it out just like everything else. So we're looking for early adopters. If Oracle's looking for early adopters, so if you're interested, please reach out to us so that we can help you get the 64-bit tool on it if you have a need for it. So your web server was already 64-bit. Your iSeries, if you're on that, was already 64-bit. Basically, it's the Windows and Linux servers now are now 64-bit enterprise code. And web development clients and deployment server will soon follow. So basically, time to imagine your business journey, etc. The strength of individual technology, social, mobile analytics doesn't lie in the technologies. Instead, it stems from how companies integrate them to transform their business. So this just came from MIT, Sloan, Deloitte universities. So Oracle's continued investment into the cloud, of course, the user experience, improving workflow, digital technologies. You guys are all tired of hearing the word digital transformation. I know if I hear it one more time this week, I'm glad it's Friday afternoon here in Ohio. Don't have to hear it again. But it's alive. It's what everybody's living. And ERP. I attended a Gartner event on ERP yesterday, and the guy was really funny. ERP is here. He said, but this is really a boring topic to talk about. I guess it depends on your perspective. I've made my living in ERP, and I presume all of you on this call have as well. And Oracle is committed to ERP, modern ERP in the digital world, in the cloud world, and a better user experience. So we talked about these already: customer expectations and innovations, continuous delivery, continued simplification tools, support policies, or you're tired of hearing that my system is out of support and got to pay more, and also reduce the major releases just because it's too disruptive to business. Whew. So with that, Caitlin, I've done a lot of talking, so I'm going to turn it back over to you and see if anybody has any specific questions about Collaborate.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Excuse me, InFocus. Yeah. You need me to turn it over to you, or do you know how?
I'm doing it.
You got it?
Yep.
Good deal.
Okay, thanks, John. Before we get to the Q&A section, I just want to go over a few things. Our webcast today is part of GSI's free ongoing educational webcast series on JD Edwards. Our upcoming webcasts are listed on the screen. To view our most up-to-date schedule, please visit getgsi.com/webcast. And once again, please join GSI at the Greater Lancaster JD Edwards User Group on October 30th, as well as the Northeast Regional User Group on November 8th. GSI provides extensive free educational resources for the JD Edwards community, including our weekly educational webcasts, our monthly newsletter called the GSI Insider, our online resource center where you can access our on-demand webcasts, white papers, and more, and our on-site and virtual workshops. If you'd like to sign up for our weekly email reminders for upcoming webcasts or our monthly newsletter, or to create an account to access our resource center, go to getgsi.com, then go to Platforms on the main menu, then select JD Edwards, and then you can select from the appropriate link on the left. And while I see we've already had a few questions submitted online, I would like to remind everyone that if you would still like to submit a question, you can do so using the questions panel in the GoToWebinar console window on the right side of your screen. If you minimized your console earlier, please click the left arrow to redisplay the questions panel. Our first question, John, that we have is, will we have an InFocus in the next few years?
Yeah, great question. I think based upon the fact that this InFocus was the most highly attended and InFocus out there, I measure to say we will see InFocus for the foreseeable future. I'm not only going to say yes to next year, I'm going to say yes to the next 5 years.
Okay, and we have one more right now, and it was there more, or were there more cloud sessions than anything else?
Well, another good question. There was a lot of cloud material there. Don't get me wrong. Oracle's still got a cloud message at a very high strategic level, but no, this was you know, cloud is just a technology side of it. This was more about you know, running your business. I'd say there were technology sessions. Some of them focused on cloud, but I'd say maybe it was only 5% of the sessions there.
Okay, and it looks like we don't have any more questions, so we can just move on. As a follow-up from today's webcast, we ask that you please complete a short 1-minute survey when you exit. You will be receiving an email with a link to our resource center on our website where you can access the recording from today's webcast, as well as a copy of the presentation. And after today's webcast, we'll do a drawing for a $25 Amazon gift card. Anyone that attended the entire webcast will be eligible, and we'll notify the winner. If you have any follow-up questions, you can contact John or I, and we'll get back to you. Our contact information is on the screen. Thanks again for attending, and have a great day.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.